welcome to Marketing of the Minds. I am Chad Russell with Arcane Marketing, and this is the new format that we're running. Obviously, if you had joined us last week on Marketing of the Minds, then you would have seen that we kind of changed the format of how we're going to go going forward. And once a week, we're going to highlight a business's Google My Business page and give the business owners and the administrators actionable items that they can use to help maximize the effectiveness of their Google My Business listing, to help them show up more often in Google Maps and be found first. And so today I am joined by Matthew Kolicki.
Kolke.
I'm sorry. I probably should have verified that before we went live. Kolke. Yeah, Matthew Kolke. He is with Escape from the Milmor Murderer. It is an escape house, and it's one of those escape rooms businesses that people they hold events. People go into, and they basically get to solve do some problem solving. Correct?
Ours is a little different. We throw a killer in the mix, and they're hunting for keys instead of solving puzzles. So
cool.
They're running through a 3-story building, running from a killer, trying to escape him.
Right on. Way cool. So yeah, I just got you. You're on camera now, and so the audience can see us. So yeah, just give us just a quick little background of Escape from the Milmor Murderer, and basically what came about, and we'll go from there. And how the business came about, that kind of deal.
Okay. It's kind of the brainchild of Porter Williams. His dad is on the board of the Blackfoot community players here in Blackfoot, and we do a yearly Halloween haunt, and then the building just sits all year. So he kind of got together and came up with this idea to have an escape room made, modeled after a video game called Dead by Daylight, and he built it all up. We were starting in March, and then we got shut down, and so now we're just getting the ball rolling again.
Way cool. And so since the stay-at-home orders have been lifted and we're going through the reopening phases, has business picked up at all in that? Have you been running people through there?
It has. We've had, I think, probably 15 groups since we opened just a month ago. So we're picking up. We just got to get the word out there. So
Cool. And that's exactly why you're out here right now on Marketing of the Minds. So like I said, we're going to go and take a look at your Google My Business listing and kind of give you a deep dive on that. And I'm going to give you a bunch of really good actionable things that you can do to help become more visible. And one of the things about Google My Business and Google in general is that Google is doing everything they can to keep people in Google search. I mean, it's okay if people go to your website to find out. I've looked at your website and everything's good to go there. And I'll give you some advice on that as well as we get going in this to help with your Google My Business listing. But long story short is, a lot of people, and what Google is facilitating are what we call no-click searches. And a no-click search is when somebody does a search for a product or a service or a business such as yours. They'll do a search for it, and if Google can give the searchers the information that they're looking for to keep them basically from clicking into your website, they keep them in Google search, then there's more of an opportunity that someone's going to click on a Google ad, and that's how Google makes their money, right? So Google's doing everything they can to keep people in search, and that's really what Google My Business is about, right? You can book hotels, you can book flights, you can book events right from Google search. And a lot of times in Google My Business. And so I'm finding, and a lot of marketers are finding as well, that the more that you optimize and the more that you use your Google My Business listing, the better it's going to be for people. Because even though we do want them to click into your website, we want to make sure that first touch point, that first place where people search, if they're going to do a no-click search, they're going to find your information. We want to make sure that your business stands out in Google My Business, right? And so,
Okay.
Matthew, there's a ton of things that we'll go over during this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the back end of your Google My Business listing, and I'm just going to start explaining what we see there, and then we're going to go into the info section and show you a lot of really cool things that you can do to help optimize your business and really take advantage of this really neat tool. Because if Google's going to keep people in Google search, then let's give those searchers everything they can about your business so that we can take advantage of that. Okay? All right, cool. All right, so we're going to move over to here. All right, so now what you're looking at is this is the home screen of Escape the Milmor Murderer, right? This is your Google My Business listing. Now, Matthew, last week, they got the business verified going through the verification process, but right now it is going through the review process. And so this listing isn't live on Google Maps yet. But nonetheless, there's still a lot of things we can go over in it. There's still a lot of really cool things that we'll look at. But there might be some information that I'm going to move us over to the Arcane Marketing Google My Business listing just so that you can kind of see what I'm going to explain to Matthew. Because his business listing isn't live yet, there's some data that Google hasn't provided yet. But nonetheless, there's still a lot of really cool things to take a look at. So are you familiar with the back end here, the dashboard of your Google My Business, Matthew?
Some of it, yeah. I've done a little bit of the basics, pictures and stuff like that, but there's a lot of new stuff that I didn't know was there. So
Yep, absolutely. So my first suggestion for everybody who's marketing their own business on Google My Business is get to know this screen right here. This is the home screen that you'll see right over here. It says home. This is the first screen that you get into when you look at your listing, and it has a lot of really good and actionable items in it that you can use to really leverage this tool, right? Obviously, right now we're going through the pandemic, and so Google wants to make sure that Google gives you the tools to help update people who might find your listing with COVID-19 things. So if you have like updated business hours, a lot of businesses during the lockdown in the state here, they reduced business hours or they changed them, right? And so Google My Business put this little panel right here to help you be aware of that. There's not a whole lot that you're going to do for this now, but what I would make sure you do recognize is there's a post your COVID-19 update. Let's say if something were to happen and maybe God forbid cases start picking up and the governor has to start restricting things again, and it might impact your business. What you'll definitely want to do is if you see an impact coming in or something that's going to impact your business, either reduced hours or maybe your maximum capacity for the facility is cut down by half because of social distancing, then you'll want to use this post your COVID-19 update. Anything that's going to impact your business, you're going to want to let people know about that, especially when it deals with COVID. And we'll get into the post here in a little bit, but that's there. Obviously, okay. Google wants to get you involved in Google Ads. That's what this will set this up right here. Claim $100 in free advertising. This is for Google Ads. Google Ads is a really good tool. It's the pay-per-click marketing the side of Google. It's a really good tool to really get your business up into the top of search in the ads positions. We're not going to get into that because that is much more of a different a Google service. We're just going to dedicate our time on the Google My Business here. Okay. Of course, down here, if I would definitely suggest this. This panel right here is get full access to your business profile, right? They basically want you to download the app, the Google My Business app onto your phone. And there is a really important feature with that that we'll get into. It's basically in the messaging part. When your business here in Google My Business finally gets launched and it goes live on Google Maps, then you're going to be able to turn on your messaging functionality, and so people can message you directly from the Google search. And I'll show you what that looks like really quick. If I were to open this up, and since you're not live yet, I'm going to look at Arcane Marketing.
Okay. Can you put it so that I can see the Google My Business page?
Oh, I'm not even sharing that yet, am I? Oh, I'll present that right now. Absolutely. Present to you. And it's this screen right here. Sorry about that. So we're going to work out the kinks in this first episode. Do you see what I'm looking at now?
Yep, much better. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the COVID-19 update right here. This little tab, this little card right here is for the Google Ads, and then this is the one that we're talking about right here. Okay, so when people search for your business in Google search, right? They'll do a search for you. They want to find you. You can ask questions, and you can even message the business directly from Google Maps, and you can do it right from the knowledge panel here as well. There should be a little box in here that says send a message, because I've got it set it up on for us as well. There should be a send a message option, and actually it's when you're looking on your phone. I'm ridiculous. When somebody's doing a mobile search and they find you, there's going to be a little box that pops up that says message this business. It's kind of like SMS text, but what it does is it actually goes to your app. And when it opens up on your app, you'll get a notification on your phone saying, "Hey, somebody's sent you a message." You can directly respond to people through the app. And so just for that fact alone, I would absolutely, so right here, turn on your messaging. This little box allows you to download your app. It just takes you to a place where to download it, and I would suggest doing it because the app basically does everything you can do here, but you don't have to get on your desktop to upload images or if you want to put posts up or things like that. So I would definitely recommend downloading the app on your phone and using that to help manage your Google My Business listing. But the messaging right here, turning on messaging. When your listing, Matthew, gets put up on Google Maps, then you're going to use this, you want to turn this on so that people can directly message you. They might ask for hours, they might ask for things that, how many people can show up, what's pricing points. What's really cool about the messaging and what I found that can really help you optimize your business listing is people are going to message you through the message app and they're going to ask you questions. And what's really cool about people asking you questions is these are frequently asked questions because you'll notice a lot of people do. And so that can give you an idea of these are things that maybe we need to put on our website that can answer people's questions. And of course, there's another really cool feature about Google My Business. It's asking a question of the business, right? So you can come into here, into your Google My Business listing, people can come in and ask questions about, hey, what do you guys do? How many people can show up? What are your summer hours? What are your other hours? So right here, questions and answers. This is an oftentimes underutilized section of Google My Business, right? And so when somebody comes in and asks a question in here, for instance, Arcane Marketing, I could come into here and say, what are your summer hours, right? And so somebody can ask you a question directly from there, and you'll get a message, an alert on your phone that says, hey, somebody asked a question on your Google My Business. Do you want to answer it? And of course, you can come out and answer that. So my hack to you would be turn on your messaging app. When you get it live, turn on your messaging, and anytime somebody asks you a question, or if you see a series of questions being asked regularly on your messaging, look up your Google My Business listing in Google and ask that question. Even you as the business owner or the business administrator of your Google My Business page, you can come and ask that question. So if you see people asking questions regularly, come in and ask that question. Click that button, ask the question, and then you can come answer it yourself. And now right here in your Google My Business, in the knowledge panel, that's what we call this, the knowledge panel, those frequently asked questions will show up, and you can be one of the first people or the first source of information for the answers to those questions. Do you have any questions about that?
No,
it's just a really cool, exactly. It's a really cool way that you can take advantage of these tools to help fill out your business listing more. And people will ask you questions through that messaging app. So my first piece of advice to you is download the Android or the iOS app. Get your sign in your Google account so that you can manage the page and turn on your notifications, because as soon as your page goes live, Matthew, turn on the messaging functionality and then people can start messaging you. If they start asking you questions, then go and start filling out your questions and answers section here. Not a lot of businesses do that, and it's a good way for people to get those frequently asked questions answered right there in front of their faces, so that they can help make the determination of whether or not they want to, come see you, use your business, right, and just get that stuff ready to go. So absolutely do that. All right, there's a couple other things that you can do when your business gets set up in here. bookings, we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't, for your particular business, do you guys take online reservations for people coming in?
Yep, that's all we take. We don't even do cash or in person. So
Okay.
it's
All
all
right, cool. All right, sounds good. I don't do you the booking section, and we'll get into it in here in a little bit, but the booking section uses very common booking applications, booking services, and if you're using one of those, you can sign up for that, and people can book their tickets or book their time or their reservations directly from Google My Business. So it'd be nice if this was already set, if this was live, we could see if there's any of the ones that pop up that you're using. But nonetheless, I mean, obviously, there's ways to do this around that booking section. We'll get into the Google posts and stuff like that. Okay. We'll get into that in a sec. All right, so the last two that I want to go over in here before we get into the info section and the posts and the insights. This is really cool. When you start getting reviews to your business, your reviews will start showing up in this little card here, right? Everybody knows that getting, the reviews in Google Maps are highly important, right? In ranking for local businesses to rank in the Google 3-pack, and what we're talking about the Google 3-pack are these. So if I were to search for like Idaho Falls plumber, right? If I'm doing a search for a plumber or whatever, this is what we call the Google 3-pack that you're seeing right here. It's right on search. It's usually right up underneath the ads when it's a local intent search, and it's right above all the regular organic listings that show up. And so this is basically what we're trying to do. When you're optimizing your Google My Business listing, you're trying to get in here to rank number one for whatever keywords it is that people are typing to find your particular business. And also something, Matthew, just kind of digress on this, is that when you filled out that application to get on this show, you sent me a series of keywords. I'm tracking those keywords right now to see where your Google My Business listing is going to rank. Right now, you don't rank anywhere for them because your Google My Business listing isn't live yet. But as soon as it comes live, then we're going to see those rankings start to improve for the keywords that I'm tracking for you. And in a couple months, I'm going to revisit those and see what improvement, if any, after you take the information I'm giving you in this training and applying it to your Google My Business listing. And we're going to see if these rankings improve as time goes by, because Idaho Falls, we have an escape room business up here as well. I think there's maybe one or two others in the area here too. So you're going to be competing with them when this Google My Business listing goes live, right? And so I want to see how well you do compared to them. Right, I want to see over time how you're going to start ranking to see if we can get you more visibility in Google Maps, right? So that's what that is. That's called the local 3-pack. And of course, to rank in the 3-pack, there's a series of factors. There's a series of metrics that Google's algorithm takes into consideration. The number four most important metric to rank in Google Maps is your reviews. And there's two things that they're talking about in reviews. There's called review consistency, meaning or the volume, how many reviews you have, and then how often you get those reviews, right? Do you get them on a regular basis? Or have you gotten all at once and then you don't get any, right? And so these factors that Google's looking at, Matthew, is if people are giving you reviews on a consistent basis, maybe a couple of reviews a month or maybe even a couple of reviews a week as that keeps going, that signal that Google gets, even if they're 1-star, 2-star, 5-star reviews, it's that consistency in them. Google takes that into consideration that you're an active business. You're doing what you can to market yourselves. You're letting people know that this Google My Business listing exists, and you're giving them a link to your review, right? You're guiding people there to give reviews. One of the biggest thing that we tried to work with a lot of our local businesses, and it takes a little bit of work setting up, is a good review acquisition strategy. What that just simply means creating a strategy and putting it in place, maybe a set of processes, or maybe there's an extra tool. There's a tool that we use here in reputation management that helps our clients get reviews on a constant basis. Every time they, complete a sale, they sell a product or they sell a service, or if they're a doctor or a lawyer and they get clients who come in who get served well, and they get they get a service performed, and then they get an email after their service and I say, hey, and I'm sure you've done this, you've purchased something or gone into a doctor's office, you get an email or a text that says, hey, how'd we do? Give us a review, right? We do that here at Arcane Marketing marketing as well. And those help you get reviews, because we know that reviews acquisition is an important ranking factor in Google My Business. So going back to your Google My Business listing, right here in the front of the screen here, you'll be able to see reviews that come in, and you'll be able to respond to them, right? Part of being a good business and a good business owner or a good business manager is that you want to be, responsive to the people who take the time out of their day to give you a review, good or bad, right? If someone gives you a 5-star review and says, hey, we loved our experience there, we can't wait to come back, go in and thank them, right? If they took the time to review your business, go in and thank them. Now, if you get bad reviews, 1-star, 2-star, maybe even a 3-star review where you might have missed the mark with somebody or something happened, right? You can go and respond to them and let those reviewers know how it is you can fix them or how it is you can help them out, or at least give them a phone number to call to say, hey, we'd like to help resolve these issues. This allows you to do that. And it helps build trust in your local community, because if you're responding to people, good and bad, then it shows people and shows your future customers that you're responsive, that you're personable, that you value your customers, whatever experience that you've given them. And hopefully you're remediating bad experiences, but you're also thanking the people who you've given a good experience to. So never let a review just sit idle, right? Always respond to your reviews. It's always really good business practice. Responding to bad reviews, there's ways to do it. There's ways not to do it. Obviously, don't get combative. Don't fight with people in the review section. That is not the right place to do that. Obviously, you're a business. You want to keep professional, but at the same time, you want to take care of everybody that comes through your doors, good or bad, right? So there's that's something that we do here all the time is we help people navigate those waters. But anyway, so that's right there. This is a really good place that you can look at, take care of your reviews, respond to them. Now this is a really cool tool, and I just popped it up. This is something that not a lot of people know about too, and this can help you out with your review acquisition strategy, Matthew. When you click this button right here, this opens up. And when you see this, you get a link right here, okay? And it's basically, this is the link that you can share with people to give reviews to you, to make it really easy. Because there was a time when Google My Business was getting started, when Google Places was a thing, and to get people to leave you reviews, you had to walk them through. It's like, all right, first you have to create a Google account, and then you've got to go here, and then you got to scroll down the page, and then you got to click this, and then you got to do that. That was a nightmare, especially for some of the older people who use Google, who are probably a little less tech savvy than you and I probably are. Google has made it so much easier for you to be able to get reviews, right? And so they'll give you this link. We'll try it out. We'll see if it works. I don't know if it'll work yet because the listing's not up yet. So yeah, the listing's not. Let's see what it says here. The listing, because the listing's not up here, it just takes you to the search result of the page. But I'll show you what it does for us in Arcane Marketing. When we get into that, it's a really cool link that you just share this with somebody. If you're like, hey, we would like to get a review from you. Do you collect emails from people? When people book online, are you collecting and maintaining an email contact list for email marketing, Matthew?
Sir, yes.
Great. This is exactly what this is for, those kinds of things, because you'll send out email marketing to customers who you've had before. You might say, hey, did you enjoy your experience? Hey, we would love to have a review. You might already be doing this, but this is just another way that you can do that. So you give this link to somebody, they visit the link, and it opens up another screen, and it just puts that review input box right in front of them. It'll pop open like this. And then there it is. It's as easy as that. They open the link up. They can leave the star rating. They can leave their review. So really good places for this, Matthew, too, that I found is in your email signature. You have a company email that you probably correspond with people with. I would put that link. Hey, review us on Google, and put this link as a link in your email signature. So every time you email somebody, Matthew, there's that opportunity where you can get another review or read our reviews. So you can see what's happening. And of course, You can share via Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. So if you got a Facebook account that you're signed into and you click this, it'll go open up your Facebook page and it'll have a little review link ready to go. You can say, all right, I want to post this to our Escape the Milmor Murderer Facebook page. And then you post right to your page, hey, this is where you can leave reviews. So it's just a really, really cool tool, and it's a really cool thing for you to use to get Google reviews easier, right? There's the link. You can just send that out to anybody who's been a customer before. Hey, please review us on Google. And so obviously make that a part of your review acquisition strategy.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about that?
Do you know, does Google filter their reviews like Yelp does?
So, good. That's a great question. Yelp is notorious with filtering reviews. Google is not as good as Yelp, and so there's kind of a drawback in that Google's review system is very prone to abuse. It is, and I mean, if you do any kind of Googling on it and doing any searching, Google's review system is very prone to abuse. However, Google does have remediation and ways to help deal with if for some reason, and it happens, sometimes there's those groups of people who go and try to spam business listings with fake reviews or whatever, and you'll see news stories about that all the time. Fake reviews reviews are much easier to get removed from Google than they are from Yelp, and
so it's not necessarily the spam that I'm worried about. Well, just as example, we have about 6 reviews on Yelp, and they're only recommending 2 of them.
Right.
So that's what I'm more concerned about, is where we're just starting out. If people are leaving us reviews, but then, Yelp decided they didn't like it, so now it's not there.
So I have a really good answer for you that you're going to be happy with, Matthew, in that the vast majority of the reviews that you get for your Google My Business listing are not going to get filtered. Google's not very good at, I don't know if I want to even say very good, because Yelp, there's a lot of controversy in how Yelp does. Some people think that, if I sign up for Yelp's advertising services, they'll not filter as many or whatever else. I'm not a big fan of Yelp, and I never have been because of their review system. However, while it's great that reviews in Google are very rarely filtered, it is more prone to abuse. So that's just one thing you have to be aware of. But like I say, the vast majority of the reviews that are left on your Google My Business listing are gonna go up. But you just need to make sure that you're not doing anything, you're not violating Google services. Offering incentives for people to leave reviews. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with asking for reviews. And that's another thing about Yelp too. Yelp straight up says, do not solicit reviews. Google wants you to. Google gives you the link. Hey, share this with people. We want reviews, right? But then again, Google owns 90% of the market share for search. So Google wants as many people using Google products as possible. So yeah, long story short, you're 99% of the reviews that are left on your business listing are going to stick, and they're going to stay. Cool. All right, before we get into this next section, I got one more thing to show you, and this is really cool, okay? There's a section here that says businesses like yours are posting. And basically, businesses that use the same kind of a category that yours does, like escape room center, that's your main business category. These are your competitors. They're right here on this dashboard screen. Google is showing you what your competitors are posting about. So I would absolutely get into here and and take a look at what your competitors are posting, because if they're posting sales, or if they're posting deals or offers or events, it can give you an idea of maybe things that you can do and offer people that can compete with them. And so I think it's really cool that Google shows you what your competitors are posting about, so that you can have that reminder. I need to be using the Google posts. I need to be using this tool to help get more of us out there, right? And of course, your competitor is going to see what you're posting as well. But it's really cool to see that, so that you can understand what your competitors might be doing that maybe you should look at doing as well. I wouldn't copy their thing word for word or anything, but if you're seeing some seasonality stuff come up that they're posting about, maybe it's time for you to look at that and say, all right, what are they posting? What links are, if you look at what they've posted, and if it's taking a link to on their website, what's their website? What are your competitors doing? It's just a really good competitor analysis to see. So you don't have to go and do your own searches for what your competitors do, right? This shows you right there. And so I would definitely take a look at this at least once a week, because Google posts, they expire after a week. Some posts don't, and I'll get into those here in a bit. Some posts do. But anyway, Take a look at this, because if your competitors are posting stuff, you better be too. And it'll give you ideas of things that you can post on your own that you can compete with and probably do better than your competitors are doing, right? All right, so that goes over your home screen there, and so what we're going to do is go into info, and we're going to go over this for about 10 minutes, and then the rest 20 minutes of the time I'm going to go over the other things, the insights and the posts. I really want to get into the posting with you so you'll help you understand that. So here is your business information. This is the most important information in your Google My Business listing. This is where, when you start doing more local SEO, that means doing more business listings like Bing Places for Business, Yelp, or Hot Frog, and a ton of different places where you can put listings, yellowpages.com. This is the information that needs to be the same throughout, because if your information is different here, meaning your business name, your category, your address, your phone number, if this differs from what you have in Yelp, or if it differs from what you have in Bing Places for Business, Google will see that, and sometimes Google may make the decision to change your business information without your knowledge. And so you don't want to do that. We want to keep as much control of your Google My Business listing as possible. And so the best thing you can do about that is keep that information consistent. I just put a blog post up on on our Arcane marketing website about NAP consistency, NAP consistency, name, address, phone number, right? We want to keep that stuff as consistent as possible, because if you do that, then you're more likely to rank better in Google Maps. In fact, in our business listing here, right there, here's our free guide to your Google local business directories, which, Matthew, I would definitely suggest you take a look at, because this post that we have here, I wrote that last week, 6 days ago, and it's got a bunch of local business directories that Escape the Milmor Murderer should absolutely be inside of. So go take a look at that post sometime here soon, and it's just a lot of really good SEO or local SEO information for you. But getting back into this, so we have all this great information that we have in here. You can always go and make sure that your business information's updated. Your service area is really if you're delivering products to people, right? People are coming to you, so this one's not really going to be something you need to pay attention to. But of course, special hours, holidays. Go in and update for holidays that are coming out. If you have reduced hours on Memorial Day, Labor Day, or if you close those days, it's a really good idea to update this, because if you don't put that information in here, then when people find your business online, it'll say, they go to Google Maps and find you. It'll say things like, hey, business hours might be different because today's Martin Luther King Day or something. And if people don't know if you're open or closed, they might call you. They don't know. You're not answering the phone. They kind of lose confidence in you. So definitely, I would say every single year, go in and update your special hours to let people know, or let Google My Business know, to show you as closed or different hours for different holidays coming through. So I would absolutely get that updated. Remember, you want to give people the most accurate information possible about your Google My Business listing and about your business as a whole. Don't let Google figure this out for you. You put that in, right? Right. Of course, here's your phone number. That's great. If you have any alternate phone numbers, I'd put those in there as well, right? Maybe you have a second line or a third line. The first number that shows up here in your primary will always be the one that shows up in your Google My Business listing when Google Maps shows up. The reason why you might add alternate phone numbers is because if you use call tracking, if you set up call tracking to figure out where your leads are coming from, then the primary number would be your phone tracking number, and then you would use your real phone number as an alternate number, because that that NAP consistency I'm talking about, right? You want to make sure that your phone number for your business is consistent everywhere, but you might have a tracking number for Google My Business, you might have another one for Yelp or something else, but always have your main business, the real one, somewhere, either as your primary or as an alternate number, because if you have it as an alternate and Google sees that phone number somewhere else, your real business number somewhere else, Google's not going to replace your tracking number with your real phone number. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, you've taken advantage of the vanity URL. That's good to go. That helps people find you a little bit easier when you use shortened URLs. So take advantage of that. But here's a big one right here that I want to show you, Matthew. Here's your URL. This takes people right to your website, right? This is that click to our website. If people decide to leave Google search and go to your website, you want to be able to track information. You want to track people who are coming to your website via Google Analytics. And so one thing I would always recommend is updating this URL right here with the UTM tracking code. And basically what that is if I open up UTM tracking, I can open this up and I can say, hey, I want to make sure that if somebody visits my website from Google My Business, I want to make stinking sure I know exactly that it was Google My Business that sent it. And so what I typically do is I'll come in here, I'll close, no, not close that, but I'll take your URL here, and I'll even do this for you right now because it's that easy. I'll pop that in there. And so I basically, the campaign source would be Google, campaign medium, Google My Business, and the campaign name, Knowledge Panel, and Google Maps. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going to take this URL and I'm going to put it into here and apply that. When I need to cut that out right there. There we go. Apply that. All right. So what's going to happen here is that when your listing goes live, Matthew, and somebody visits your website from this listing, in your Google Analytics, you will see it in your campaigns that somebody visited your website from Google My Business. Because if you don't do this, then you'll see that the website visits, they call it direct traffic, right? And so you don't know if that means somebody typed your URL in or if somebody's finding you through Google My Business. What's really important too is if you're marking up, if you start putting your Google My Business posts in, right? You're putting up new posts about maybe a special that's coming up or a deal that's coming up or an event that you're putting on. You want to differentiate traffic from Google My Business in those posts to see how well they're doing, how well they're sending traffic in. Because the more data that you get in Google Analytics based off of the UTM tracking code that you put in here, then you can start refining your marketing strategy better, especially when you're getting a lot of traffic from Google My Business posts. You can start refining that better and seeing what posts do better than others, right? And then you can start really molding your marketing to help you get better posts up and hopefully get more business from your Google My Business listing. So eventually, Matthew, I'll write a blog post all about this and put it on the Arcane Marketing website that'll really explain that in detail. But it's just UTM tracking code. You can go to ga-dev-tools at appspot.com. It's called the Campaign URL Builder. If you just type in Google UTM Generator, UTM stands for Universal Tracking Metrics. If you type in Google UTM Builder, it'll take you to this, and you can build all those up. So it's just a really good tool to help you track traffic in your Google Analytics if people go to your website from your Google My Business listing, right? So great stuff there to keep aware of. Now, products and services. Now, your business is more of a service-based business, right? You're providing a service, which is the escape room experience. However, if you guys start selling swag like hats or shirts, do you guys sell anything?
Not yet. We're looking into it though.
Absolutely. When you do that, this is one of the coolest things that you can do, the products. You can actually add business or like products, a landing page, like their product pages with product, pricing, a description. You can add it right here in Google My Business. And when those show up, what you'll see those show up if you were to, let's see here, go to their Google My Business on Maps. And in their knowledge panel that opens up, you'll see their products show up. Now, this is a service-based business too, but in here you'll see a little panel of little cards that show up of your different products, where people can directly buy products from your business from Google My Business, or you can take them to a landing page. It's a really cool opportunity if you start selling swag or anything like that. If you're an e-commerce business, it makes absolute sense to take advantage of that. Right now, you're not going to need to get into that. We'll get into that later. This is a Google My Business deep dive for your business. So anyway, bookings. Like I say, when this listing goes live, I definitely want you to come in here and see if the booking options that Google has partnerships with, that they can API with your booking service. And if they do, you just simply go in, make the connection, and then people can book visits to your business right from the Google Knowledge panel, right? It'd be nice to get people to the website, but if you can take advantage and get customers right from Google search, why not? I would definitely take advantage of that. All right, big thing here, photos. This is something that I think that is going to be, especially for your service that you do, Matthew, for Escape the Milmor Murderer. People are going to want to see what it's all about. They might want to see some of these rooms. Now, of course, if some of the rooms have secrets, I wouldn't put the secrets of how to solve it or anything that, the things that they got to do. But they definitely want to see what they're in for. This is something when someone's going to go experience something like this, they're probably going to want to see what the interiors look like, what the rooms look like, what the check-in counter looks like, maybe people in costume. They want to see that stuff. And so this is probably going to be one of your biggest assets besides the posts. This is going to be one of your biggest assets for your Google My Business listing. And Google loves images. Google image search is 21% of all searches in Google are for Google image searches, okay? And so the more images that you put in here, and of course if you're updating things, if you're putting new rooms in there, if you're expanding rooms, or if you're expanding some of the stuff that you provide, always add those images because Google loves it. And these people are looking for this stuff. And if people can find your business and they have compelling photos that are really nice, and people find those in Google image search, they can click those and find your business through them. And so obviously anything that you can put in your Google My Business here with the images, I would say take advantage of that, Matthew. Do it. Interior, of course, videos. Videos are huge in Google My Business, and there's something that it's content that's easily consumed. And it's content that that people like seeing, especially in something that you're doing here. People want to see people walking around in here, people getting scared, people jumping. It's that kind of promotional stuff that people are really gonna love to see, and they're gonna interact with, and that can really help sell your business more. Right now, we're working on a productized video offering here at Arcane Marketing, where the business owners shoot their own video, and then they send the video to us, and we edit it into a nice professional looking video with logos and text and stuff like that is custom made for Google My Business and social media sharing. So take advantage of this, Matthew. I can't stress this enough. Get good video, 30-second, 15-second videos, all you really need, just to give people a taste of what you have. But the images are going to go a long way for you. Absolutely do that, okay? Of course, in the reviews tab, this is reviews. That's kind of like what you've seen in the dashboard, but you can come in here and see all your reviews, ones you responded to, and stuff like that when you get those. So definitely look at that. So now what I want to get into as we start getting a little bit further into this, I'm going to go into the insights for the next 5 minutes, and then we're going to spend the last 10 minutes talking about posts. But up until this point, Matthew, do you have any questions?
I think you've laid it out pretty well. Great.
So real quick, I got a question from Nate Sampson on the Facebook. He says, do you have to manually set up Google profile short name, or is it dynamically set up? So that's a great question. And so going back into the info tab, it's the short name. It's that vanity URL, right, that we were talking about. And so he's talking about this section right here. Okay, and so what'll happen is when you set up your Google My Business, and great question, Nate, what'll happen is Google, it won't be set. You have to set it yourself. However, Google My Business will give you recommendations. Now, if you're like a plumber, right, and you have a lot of competition around, there's a good chance somebody might have already picked up like Idaho Falls plumber, or whatever town you're in, Blackfoot plumber. Someone might have already taken that. So Google will give you suggestions on it. So you have to manually pick the username that you want, but Google will give you suggestions on it. However, you can always put in the name that you want if it fits for you, right? And so you can say, right here, Escape the Milmor Murderer. You've already chosen yours, and so you can change it up to 3 times a year. And I'm not going to change yours here, but a lot of times when you first set it up, Google will give you suggestions that you can pick from, or you can enter it in yourself. But yeah, Google does not set it until you set it for yourself. So you have to manually set it up, but Google does give you suggestions for us. So I hope that answered your question, Nate. All right, so going into the insights. So the insights section gives you a lot of really good information about how your Google My Business listing is performing in search and how people interact with it, how people are finding you, and a bunch of other information. However, some of the information it gives is really, it's kind of weird how Google does it. Now, because your listing isn't live yet, you don't have any data yet. So I'm going to quickly go into the Arcane Marketing one to show you what ours looks like and give you an idea of what you're looking at and kind of how you can use the information here in your marketing. So the first thing that you're going to see is queries used to find your business. These are keywords that people have typed where your business has shown up either in Google search, or your knowledge panel has shown up, or you've shown up in Google Maps, right? Your business showed up somewhere when someone's doing these searches. So you can get a good idea of the types of keywords that people are typing in Google search that your business is showing up for. And so when you're doing your marketing going forward, you can use this data to help you with keyword research, so that when you're optimizing your website, or if you're optimizing your Google My Business posts, you'll know what people are searching for, and you can develop content based off that information. So definitely keep an eye on that stuff right there. The next one down is how customers search for your business. And you're going to see these numbers here. These are impressions. An impression means when your business showed up, when your listing in Google My Business and in Google search showed up on someone's screens. These aren't clicks to your business. These are times that you've been seen when somebody makes these searches up here. Okay, so direct means customers who find your business listing searching for your business name or address. So if they type in escape the Milmor murderer, then that will be a direct search when your business shows up directly for that. The one that's the most important for everyone really is the discovery. This is the one when people who don't necessarily know who you are, but they're doing a search that your business category about matches, right? Of course, escape room is one of those. There might be an entertainment venue or something along those lines. So it's a really good idea to make sure that you're using as many categories that fit your business as possible when you're categorizing your business in the info tab. Because when you do that, then you're more likely to show up during that discovery search, right? And so 62% of the people who did a search for a term, based off of Arcane Marketing, 352 times our business listing showed up for those searches, right? And then a branded, customers who find your listing searching for a brand related to your business. You probably won't have a lot of branded searches, because that would mean, like, if I was a Nissan dealership, right? If somebody typed in Nissan dealership, then that's a brand. That's a brand that I sell, a Nissan car, right? And so my listing might show up in a Google 3-pack listing with other Nissan dealerships in the same area. So you're probably not going to get a lot of those. You're probably going most of your traffic, Matthew, is going to come from discovery, and probably a smaller percentage are going to be direct, because people are going to be looking for something to do. And that idea is we want to optimize your listing as best as possible, where where your listing will show up for those people who are looking for it, right? And of course, it'll tell you where your businesses are being found, either on listing on search or listing on maps. And the difference between the two of those are, this is your listing on search, right? This is called the knowledge graph or the knowledge panel. That's interchangeable. This is your listing on search because we're in Google search, or you show up in listing on maps. And so that would be your business listing information when someone's in Google Maps, right? And so what you're looking at there is how many times your listing is found on search versus maps. And so it'll show you a little bit of data there. The numbers in here, I won't get too deep into these, but these are also impressions. These aren't clicks to your business. 29 to 20. This is how many times. These are impressions. How many times you were seen, right? Okay, can that be if it says that, where they view it, not clicked on your business. Then, this is a great piece of information here. What do they do when they find you? This is the actions. Do they click onto your website? Do they visit your website? That's them clicking on the visit the website button on the mobile device, or they click on the URL in your knowledge panel. Do they request directions? This is one that you're going to want to optimize for, because people are going to need to know how they get to your business, Matthew, because you're a business where they go to, right? And so that's definitely something you want on your main website, directions to my business, right? People are going to want to know that kind of stuff. And if your website's optimized with that, then that's, how do I get to escape the Milmor murderer? Put those directions on your website as well, but this is going to be good information for you to be aware of and to know. And so maybe a Google My Business post that you put up are like, hey, here's how to get to our business, right? If you see a lot of requests for directions to your business, make sure your website has it, and then make sure that once in a while you're putting a post up on Google, on the Google posts, the GMB posts about how to get to our business, right? And of course, how do they call you here? The metrics that you see in here, the way that Google does those, that's not entirely accurate. If you're really interested in knowing how many people are calling you, I definitely look into call tracking. Here at Arcane Marketing, we use a lot of times we use a service called CallRail to do that. It's really easy to set up. It's relatively cheap to run. But if you're really getting into that part of the marketing, looking into call tracking, because the call metrics from here aren't reliable. They aren't. And if you do some Google searches on why it's not, there's plenty of articles that explain that. When people request directions to your business, if it's a lot, you're going to see what zip codes. In this area here, I don't show them here, but you'll see on a Google map layout what zip codes people are requesting directions more often and not from your business. So if you're seeing a lot of people requesting directions from a particular zip code, it's probably a good idea to go to your website and say, hey, here's how to get to us from Shelley. Here's how to get to us from St. Anthony. Just drive, step-by-step directions. Because some people will go to your website to figure that out. So that's good data to look at. This will show you where you're getting phone calls. And, of course, you can filter this down by the time of day, time of week, 1 week, 1 month, 1 quarter. Like I say, this data, the phone call data, is not the most accurate from Google My Business. Phone call tracking is a much better way to go. But look at this. Photos. There's 2 different sections on photos. This can tell you how important it is to Google. Why to upload photos? How many photos you've uploaded, and businesses like yours. How many photos other businesses like yours are. Google loves photos. They want to see them. And then it'll tell you down here how many photos you've added versus how many photos your customers have added. It's not a bad idea to encourage your customers there to utilize your Google My Business listing. Upload your photos, upload your videos of how much fun you've had here. Obviously, don't upload photos of the ways you solve your rooms and get through that, all the secrets and stuff. But the more people that upload photos to your Google My Business listing, it shows that there's a lot of activity going on, and Google likes to see that. That is a metric of, or that's an indication that people are enjoying your business and they're utilizing you, and you're more likely to start ranking organically for the stuff that you do. So anyway, check out your insights often, and of course, once you have the app on your phone, then you'll get all this data right there when you get into your app. It's really cool. All right, so lastly, what we're going to get into, real quick, services, definitely, because you're a service business, you definitely want to fill out your services. I mean, it has a bunch of information in here that you can add what your services are, why people use them, all that kind of stuff here. So in yours, definitely, when you get live, then the services tab should show up, where you can say, this is what we are, this is what we do, this, and of course, if you expand out and have different services that you offer to people, like parties, if you have like a party special or a party or a group discount, add those stuff in there, right? It's a good idea to do. So finally, last thing that we can go over, and this is probably the most important thing that you need to be aware of. This is the part of Google My Business that not enough people take advantage of, that I think is going to put you over the top with your competitors. It's what's going to beat your competitors out if you keep on top of this, keep on it, and keep active with it. Remember, when we first got into this, we looked at your home screen. It says businesses like yours are posting. This is your competitors, right? This is what they're doing, and this is where they're doing it. This is where you want to add your services. If you have offers coming out, if you have events that are coming up, post these. I would say post at the very, very minimum. Post once a week, because this one here, of course, here's the COVID-19 updates. But if you add an update, this is your regular post, an update that's going up, right? You can add a photo of whatever it is. You can write a post out where, we're having a great time. Our grand opening's coming up, or we added a new room, or we added, there's new people we hired, or whatever. These are great places to do that. And you can, of course, add a button that go to your website. You can add a button to call now, where it says they can click on it, call right from their phone. There's a lot of really cool options here. But these ones here that says add an update, they have an expiration date of 7 days. Okay? So every 7 days, it'll expire and it'll drop off. And what you're going to see when you do these, you're going to see these show up. Let me go back right here in Google Maps. See, right here, this is a post. This one's going to expire tomorrow, and I'm going to repost it again. But that's where they show up in Google Maps. So if someone finds you in Google Maps and you have a deal that's coming out or a special, they're going to be able to see that right here in Google Maps, right there. And of course, if they find you in the knowledge panel, Arcane Marketing, Falls, they'll see those same posts show up right here. They see that stuff. So these are the perfect places if you have a deal coming up, or if you have a coupon, or if you have an event, or if you have anything of value to give to your customers. This is the place to do it, and it'll show up in here. And then if someone clicks View All, then they can see all the past posts that you've put up back in the day, right? It's it's a really good way to get updated real-time information out about what's going on with your business in front of people, right? And what's really cool about this is when you get a bunch of posts put up, it gives you some metrics on how well those posts are performing, how many views somebody's seen, how many clicks that somebody's done on that. So as you start putting more and more posts up, you can see what posts are doing better and which ones might not be doing so better. And the ones that are getting more clicks, then those are probably going to be the ones that you refine in your future marketing, right? And so definitely take this of all the things I've told you: NAP consistency, name, address, phone number, keeping all that core information. That's the most important. Keeping that core information consistent and updated. Absolutely, that's the stuff that people use to contact you, right? But then after that, make sure that you're taking advantage of your reviews, responding reviews. That's important. But this right here, I think that the Google My Business posts, Matthew, are the most important thing for you to take advantage of and to use on a consistent basis. This is going to tell you how people are interacting with you. This is going to be ways that you can get offer deals to people that they can take advantage of. This is ways that you can bring people to different places on your website if you have a blog or if you have a specials page or something like that. These are the tools that you can use to really get more engagement with your Google My Business listing, right? So a little bit of a workaround too. Of course, you have your add an update. This is a cool one here. Offers the event. If you have an event coming up, you can set a start date and an end date. This type of post expires on the end date, right? So this doesn't have a 7-day expiration period unless you want it to. So if you have an event coming up 3 months from now, put the event up now with the end date 3 months from now, and that post will stay up for 3 months. It won't expire until that expiration date's going away. And of course, you can add a bunch of really cool details in here. And of course, here's the people can book online, order online, buy, learn more, sign up. Remember to always, when you're setting up those links in those posts, use the UTM markup so that you can see in your Google Analytics how these posts are performing, how many people are using these posts to come to your website if you're driving people to your website, right? And so the other really cool one here too that I've used a few times successfully is add an offer. Adding an offer is really cool because when you add an offer in here, you can add coupon codes. So if you have a coupon code that's, take 5% off, save 5 or something like that, that they can apply to this. You can have a link on your website that you can take them to apply a coupon code. This is where your people are really going to, learn to come back to your Google My Business listing on a regular basis to see if you've got any deals coming up. So definitely, I can't stress this enough, Matthew. This is where your money's going to be made in Google My Business, and this is where you're really going to start taking off in your rankings and that. Okay? Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
So we covered a heck of a lot of stuff. I think that the first thing you should do after you get off this phone with me or get off this training with me is to go and download the app onto your smartphone and get connected with that, because you won't have to log into your computer to do these things, right? You can absolutely. Yep, you already got it.
Yep.
Good. Absolutely. Take advantage of it. And like I say, since you have already got the listing verified, and we're waiting on the review, just like, Google is a little bit slowed down right now because of the pandemic. Just keep checking back on it. What I would do is, if it's still not verified by Friday of this week, there are places you can go to do that. Have you seen the support? And so I'm going to share my screen with you one more time. The support section in here.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And just so for my other viewers, I'll show them.
So.
What's that?
I was just on there this last weekend trying to figure out why it was taking so long for them to get their stuff done.
Right. Well, my picture is taking over my little screen. There's a little support button. If you were to click on right behind my little screen there, there's a support button. You can contact them there. Another great place, and it is slow right now simply because COVID and everything. Once everything starts getting back to normal, the best place for you to contact Google My Business is through Twitter and through Facebook. After this pandemic is all done and all that, they usually are pretty responsive. I have had a lot of problems taken care of through there. So anyway, we went through a lot of stuff. Matthew, do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. I think you've kind of covered everything I was thinking about. So
Good. Did this help you out at all? Were there some things you learned during this?
Absolutely, yeah. Like you said, all the insights and stuff, I hadn't gotten into that a lot. I had posted some pictures and whatnot, but yeah, I didn't know anything about all the insight stuff going on in the background. So that's super cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, when your listing goes live, all that data that comes in is gonna be really cool. But I think while you're waiting for that listing to go live, start adding images. Get some images in there, Matthew. Get those ready to go right away, so that when that listing goes live, people have things to look at. And then when that listing goes live, at least 2 or 3 times a week, start putting some posts up. If anything, just updates, anything you can. But especially if you have any deals or offers, get those up there. And what's going to happen now is in about another, after that listing goes live, send me an email and let me know if it goes live, when it does, so that I can take a benchmark of where your keywords are that you sent me. And then 2 months after that, I'm going to go review them to see what kind of movement we've gotten out of that. And then we'll probably just do probably another quick on a future Marketing the Minds. We'll get you in here just like a 5-minute update of where you're at, how it's doing, and kind of go like that. So anyway, hey, thank you so much for getting in here. I appreciate it. I hope that the information I gave you was I hope it was fantastic, but I hope it serves you well. I hope you take advantage of it. And like I say, Google My Business will really do some wonders for you. And if Google's keeping people on Google search and not sending them to the website, use the heck out of it. It's a really neat tool. So, all right, hey, thank you very much, Matthew. I appreciate it. Don't forget, everybody who's watched this, go check out Escape the Milmor Murderer. They're an escape room down in Blackfoot, Idaho. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to get down there here, take my wife and my kids down there and check it out sometime. That's pretty cool. So, all right, thanks again. We'll see you all next week.